My name is Felix Story. I am a son of Boston, and I'm proud today to kick off our campaign for mayor of a city that I love. My story starts with my parents, who moved to Boston with my older sister, looking for a better life, looking for opportunities for themselves and for their family. And they found that here in Boston. And when I was born, I was brought home to Villa Victoria. Eventually, my parents bought a home in Hyde Park. And while there were days that we had to use the oven as a source of heat in the winter, and days that we had to boil water on the stovetop because that's how you got a hot bath, they used those moments to teach me and all my brothers and sisters that success is not defined by how much money you have, by how big your house is, or how many cars you own. It's defined by how many people's lives are better because you existed. Those are my family's values. Those are my values. I have over a decade of experience as an organizer and as a public servant right here in the city that I love. I've dedicated my life to community, and I believe in organizing, and I know the power of bringing people together, because when you bring ordinary people together, you can achieve extraordinary results. I learned that as an organizer at SEIU, where I was working for janitors, security guards, and building service workers. Some don't see them, and many perceive them to be powerless. But we knew that by working together, by making sure that everyone had a voice, that we would win fair pay, good benefits, but most importantly, the respect and dignity that everyone deserves. I'm privileged to be your city councilor, and honored to represent all of Boston's neighborhoods. I am a son of Boston. I know these neighborhoods. I've been in these neighborhoods, talking to the people who live in our neighborhoods and working with them, because I know that government works best when we work with you and not over you. We are running a grassroots campaign, knocking on thousands of doors and making thousands of phone calls. We are in your neighborhood. We are canvassing in every neighborhood and every community in this city. And that's exactly how we'll behave when I'm mayor. We will be on your doorstep. We will be in your coffee shop. We will be in your neighborhood, because we will open a little city hall in every neighborhood in this city, where you will find a person who knows that they work for you and will help you navigate so you get the services that you deserve. We will improve our online experience so that it's complete and user-friendly. City Hall will reflect our city, and they will operate with our shared belief that everyone matters and that everyone deserves a voice in the direction of this city. And we understand something innately, and that is that the delivery of basic city services is in fact the delivery of justice every day. We know that great schools is key to a great city. We know that. All 5 of my parents' children attended the Boston public schools. And while I haven't been blessed with children yet, all of my nieces and nephews attend the Boston public schools. And my sister, my mother, and my wife are all Boston public school teachers. Let me tell you something, folks. The state of our schools is personal to me. Because for most of the 57,000 students who attend our public schools, that was not one of the options. That was the option. They deserve a first-class education because each and every one of them is a first-class child. It begins by investing in early childhood education because we know how important those early years are in a child's life. We know that up until 3rd grade, they are learning to read. And from 3rd grade on, they are reading to learn. We must have at least 2 adults in those early years in those early classrooms. We have to understand that there are students who have special needs in our schools, and they deserve to be invested in, and they deserve this individual instruction. We must also understand and support our ELL and ESL students, and we must have much more dual language schools. Porque sabemos que es más de 40% de los estudiantes de la escuela pública hablan un idioma que no es inglés en su casa. I believe it's time to extend the school day, but you extend the school day to make sure that all of our children have access to arts, music, theater, dance, phys ed, and sports. And our curriculum must reflect the world we live in today. Our students deserve to be introduced to science, technology, engineering, and math. Our students deserve to have financial literacy so that they could one day follow that dream of buying a home or opening a business. Our students deserve college prep classes, and we should teach them how to apply to college, how to fill out financial aid forms, how to fill out scholarships. Because for many of those students, when they go to college, they will be the first in their families to do so. My wife, Jasmine, as I told you, is a teacher in our system. And I remember her first day of work 9 years ago because of how excited she was when she got to that classroom and how quickly it turned into disappointment because she was introduced to a completely empty classroom. Folks, I'm using the dictionary definition here of empty. There was no books, there were no tables, there were no chairs, and she was told to make magic happen. We had to invest thousands of our own dollars into that classroom. And if we couldn't have done that, what would have been said about her ability to teach? And what would have been said about those young people's ability to learn? We must invest in our public schools. Now is the time to double down on public education so that we can make sure that all of our teachers have the resources that they need so they can focus on teaching and all of our students can focus on learning. I told you my family story began right here in the Villa. And like many families, they needed a leg up. And they needed affordable housing. And they got right here in apartment 701. We must continue to ensure that that's available to every other family. We must build affordable and moderate rate housing in this city. Everyone deserves a place to live. That doesn't happen by accident, and that doesn't happen because we wish it so. That happens by intention. We will invest in community policing, where our police walk the beats and bicycle in our neighborhoods. And we will understand that the best form of public safety is prevention. Prevention that happens by fostering community and building relationships. At the core of a city with great schools and safe neighborhoods is a strong economy. It's hard to dream if you can't pay the bills. It's hard to believe if you can't find a job. And it's hard to think about tomorrow if you don't know how you're going to get past today. Boston is a prosperous city. And we must make sure that all neighborhoods share in that prosperity. By fostering innovation, by encouraging entrepreneurship, and by creating good jobs. We must invest in Boston. I have visited every small business district in this city. I've spoken to the small business owners. I could tell you Michelle's story. He was a business owner for 17 years right here in Boston. And despite having nearly a perfect credit score, he was rejected on a $15,000 loan for his business. I could tell you the many stories of the young families struggling to buy their first home, and the many other families fighting to save their homes. I could tell you about the development projects that have been stalled because of lack of financing. And I could tell you about the many Bostonians still looking for a good job. Folks, today in Boston, we have $1 billion in banks. But we don't know if these banks invest in our neighborhoods. When I am mayor, we will implement legislation that I authored called Invest in Boston that will require those banks to tell us, how much lending are you doing to small businesses in our city? How much lending are you doing to homeowners in our city? What is your plan around foreclosures? How much lending are you doing in development projects in our city? How many Bostonians have you hired? And we will only do business with the banks who do business with our neighborhoods. A rising tide must lift all boats. It cannot sink some, and we cannot, and we will not accept leaving anyone behind. Take a look around for a second, folks. Just take a look around you. We are of different races. We are of different religions. We are different sexual orientations. We are different ethnicities. We are of different ages. But we share many commonalities. We reject the politics of division. We reject the politics that pit people against people and neighborhoods against neighborhoods. And we embrace that we are, in fact, one Boston. Boston has given me many opportunities, and I'm grateful for each and every one of them, but that story cannot begin and end with me. That should be everyone's story. And that's why I invite you to join our campaign. A campaign united in the belief that everyone deserves opportunities to succeed, that every child deserves a great education, that we must invest in all communities, and that everyone in Boston deserves a voice and say in the direction of our city. United, we will win. And together, we will move our city forward and build a better Boston. I'm so grateful for you being here. Join us in this campaign. Together, we will make history.